Hello, this is Alfinio Flores.
For a long time, schools have had a traditional way of how things are set up. And in the classroom, it's been like 7 to 9 classes a day, consisting of 45-minute periods for each class. And there have been studies have shown that because of this, students aren't able to fully reach the potential that they have, and they can't excel in their work as much as they could be. In efforts to steer away from the traditional way that classes are set up and schools are doing things, people are saying that the adoption of block scheduling is what will help these students excel in their work and not only help the students but as well as the teachers when it comes to the amount of stress that they're getting because all the work that's being crammed into one day. I'm going to persuade you by explaining the positive effects of block scheduling in high schools to show how it can be beneficial towards both students and teachers in high school. I've experienced both traditional and block scheduling throughout high school, and I've done extensive research on this topic, which I believe makes me qualified to talk to you about it today. This topic is relevant because we're all still in high school, and we've both experienced both regular and block scheduling in our years here. I'll persuade you all by stating and explaining the positive effects, which include more time for the students to process less information taught to them, and the opportunity to seek more help with their teachers and peers throughout the class. I believe that the block schedule can prove to be positively effective towards students and teachers. My first point being that students have more time to process information that's taught to them. In an article that I found called Block Scheduling Viewed from the Teachers and Students' Perspective, there's a high school in Westport that because of their adoption of the block scheduling, their students have excelled in their studies and their graduation rate has risen to 93%, as well as their dropout rate has dropped from 10% to 1.4%, all because that they adopted the new method of block scheduling rather than the traditional method of 7 to 9 classes a day. And longer class periods give students the time to learn and process the information that's taught to them so that when they go home, they're not all stressed out with 9 different classes a day, trying to remember everything that they learned, doing a bunch of homework. In another article that I found called The Effects of Block Scheduling, it quotes that consistent evidence has showed that students' grades improve and the number of students on the honor roll has increased because they are now less stressed out and able to process more information. And less classes a day means that they're not just crammed with a ton of information, just stressed out and not remembering anything the next day or even like the next week when they have a test or something. And a teacher reported in an article called Are Block Schedules Effective? That there's more of a calm in her school. Like it doesn't only show in their classwork but also in their actions, that when they're transitioning from class to class, students aren't, running around the hallways trying to be on time because there's a limited amount of time for classes. They're more calm, they have more time in their classrooms to like slow down the lesson or go over something that they need help with. And she said that we have less behavioral issues because there's less chaos in the hallways. The pace just seems to be a little different, a little slower. My second point is that students can get more help or are able to work more on a lesson during class. And now that they have the opportunity to, when the teacher's done with her lesson, now they also have time to work on stuff that's given to them or go personally to the teacher and ask her, like, can you go over this again? I'm having trouble with this lesson and I need help. And teachers now have more planning time and can better individualize the instructions and see fewer students per day. So they're still seeing a good amount of students, but not like hundreds and hundreds, just like that cut in half so that she can focus more on just a smaller amount and those students can be able to more excel in their schoolwork. And I got that from an article called Block versus Traditional Scheduling. And students can also seek more help with their teachers and peers at the same time, creating stronger relationships with both teachers and peers. As it is said in The Effects of Block Scheduling, Block scheduling may result in stronger relationships between students and teachers as well as improved school environments and achievements measured by students' grades. And I personally have experienced this with the change from traditional to block scheduling. I feel less stressed out, honestly, with there's less classes a day, which means I'm able to like go home, you know, and then eat dinner, and I still have time to do my homework and go to sleep on time so that I'll be ready for the next day of school. So not everything's crammed into one night and I get no sleep. So it's better with the block scheduling now that I'm less stressed out and have time to do all my work and process everything that I've learned. And in conclusion, now that I've informed you that block scheduling in high school allows for students to process more information on subjects and seek more help on lessons, which in turn leads to students to become less stressed and excel in their schoolwork. I am now hopeful that you've been persuaded to side with me that the adoption of block scheduling can prove to be beneficial towards the students. Thank you.